ladies and gentlemen. Today we are here with Ms. Daljeet Kaur. She is the founder of EduSmart, podcaster, mother of two teenage daughters. She has been working towards molding and shaping young minds from the past decade. She was the very first person to introduce daycare mother and toddler in Kharghar in Navi, Mumbai at his preschool. She Hi Diljeet, how are you?
Hi, Reena. Thank
Namaste.
you. Namaste. I'm good so much. Thank you for having me
Ji,
here.
बताएं. Thank you
Yes.
so much. So, Daljit, uh, you've been doing so much. What attracted you to become a preschooler, like preschool expert, I would say,
Yeah. Thank you so
and
much.
like, and bringing the idea of daycare in Kharghar, it was like it was not known to many people that there was something that existed as daycare. So, what motivated you to do all this?
Okay. So, firstly, thank you so much, Reena, for having me over here. And just if I talk about what made me bring daycare and mother and toddler in Kharghar is the reason. Actually, I'm a mother myself, so I belong to corporate world and all, and I was really looking for something for my kids in the area in the vicinity. So I could not really find something which was so if I had to really go, it would have been Vashi or Belapur. So I said, since my children are also growing, let's not start why not start with something with a daycare and a facility to provide others as well, wherein there must be so many mothers who are looking out for such services. And also being in the UK, I believe that just once you get married and have kids and all, women are very they want to really go out and about. I mean, their life is not just finished there just as a mother. So that really inspired me. And then there was a lot of children, there were ladies who were looking after kids also. So there is like just one lady who looks after 3 to 4 children. So there is a ratio over there in UK. So I thought of the same thing, and I started implementing here just because I had my own kids as well. I did my teacher training course and everything, and that's what pushed me towards this daycare and mother toddler activities, just so that because I felt there might be many mothers who are really looking for the same, and why not start with it.
Okay, so when you initially started a daycare and mother toddler, what were the challenges that you initially faced?
Okay, so when initially I started with the daycare and mother toddler, I mean, I did not have many people were still thinking, is it really safe to send children, for so long timing to someone who is not even known to us? Is it secured? How about how would they handle the children? And these were a lot of issues. And then there were other issues like there were not many parents who were working parents. So initially, at that point of time, I'm talking about 2010, and those were challenges. But once my name spread, and people got to know about, okay, daycare, and there's Daljeet, and I think the confidence that I was having my children as well, along growing with them, that gave them a lot of confidence, and that's how. Yeah, so initially I had the teething problem of parents not really understanding what daycare and mother toddler. So I had to counsel them a lot.
So, like that, being a new concept in Kharghar, even I was there during that time, so I could I can relate because those days there were not many daycares and people were quite worried. In fact, there were many incidents also in some of the daycares. So I think that was also one of the reasons. Okay, let's come to the topic. The topic for you today is can online preschool can online education be can the toddlers be away from it? So how do we what do you have to say about this?
Okay, so I believe learning is a process that should never be stopped or paused for any moment of time. A child starts learning right from the womb of a mother. So this is an ongoing process which should never be paused or stopped for any circumstances or any reasons. So today we have, unfortunately, we have COVID. Tomorrow there might be some XYZ reason. That doesn't mean that you halt your child's studies, or that doesn't mean that you have to just take a pause and just take a break from teaching your child, or there are other options that you can also opt for, and then you can start. That is the reason I believe that learning should never stop, and that there should be an ongoing process of children to learn, and parents to teach children. So the learning process should always carry on. I know that being online or too much on the screen is not good for kids, but at the same time you have to understand that there are children who are using screen for other purposes also, playing games. So why not utilize the same time in this, and so that the children can actually, it is a fruitful time that they're using with the screen, rather than just playing games or watching YouTube videos or cartoons. That is the thing I feel, that there should be still a process which should keep on continuing, and there should never be pause. Even for parents or adults, the learning should never stop, I believe.
So,
So
because I guess like it's going to be quite, for quite some time that we will have to teach our children online, and there are so many issues that the kids are facing because of being online. You being an expert in preschooling, what would you say is the future of preschool or primary school going to be in future? Because nobody knows when this pandemic is going to get over.
yes, it's a very nice question, in fact, Reena. So I believe that this pandemic today, as I said, today's pandemic, COVID, tomorrow there might be some XYZ reason, and you really don't know what future is shaped into. So I believe this is indirect way of even God or Mother Nature telling, for the bond of the mother and the child. So I think what happens is, once a mother gives birth to a child, she feels, okay, bhaiya, abhi 6 months ho gaya, or 1 year, okay, let's leave it to the teachers, let the teacher. So in fact, what happens is, so many times the teacher knows much more than the mother actually knows about the child, because that quality bond has not been developed with the mother of the child. So I think this is a perfect opportunity for mothers or fathers or guardians, anyone who really want to know, and really, because see, how your child will behave, because I think the mother is the creator of the child, and the mother knows every move of the child. So the mother should be the first person to know what the child has been up to, and this is the right opportunity for a mother to even get into the academics of the child, even to get into the course scholastic of the child. I understand the time frames. Even the mothers are working from home, but I believe that if where there is cha, there is ra. So if you really think and you really focus and push yourself towards the learning of your child, to teaching things, and obviously there are mentors, there are mentors, but at the end, it is you, how you teach your child. It is your way of dealing with the child, is what the child is going to learn at the end of the day. It is you who is very responsible for your child's future and shaping for your child's future. So I believe that yes, this is going to be in a longer run, and I believe that they should never stop, and I think this is it now. And the additional advantages, what I can say is, the children, say for a preschooler, I don't really think a preschooler, rather than going to school, this is a perfect opportunity, because वहां पे आप जाते हो, कभी सर्दी होती है, कभी कुछ होता है, so this rather than that, I mean, this is like there are many other issues also. So I believe this is the best what we can do for the kids.
Okay, so this has become a normal process for nearly all the kids, be it preschoolers or be it the primary school children. Everybody has to be online these days. So, do you think what should be, in fact, what should be the correct proportion of time that a child should be, particularly for a particular subject, a child should be in front of screen, because toddlers, we cannot force them for longer durations.
Yes, exactly. Very good question again, Reena. This is an excellent question that you've asked again. So, firstly, for making toddlers sit in front of the screen and doing that normal thing, da 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 da, it's not going to work. It is the mother who has to make the toddler sit first, have that bond, and really focus on what the mentor is teaching rather than the teacher teaching, rather than the mother just leaving the child. At least I would talk up to the year one and year two grader children, up to grade two children. They really need, parents really need to sit beside them and really need to see what they're learning and how they are learning, and where they have difficulties, that should be, a parent needs to intervene. And as far as the subjects that you're talking about, see, some children really are interested in maths, science, different subjects. So I think where there is not too much of a download, they should not be sitting for more than 20 minutes each subject. And I believe, rather than one stretch for the entire mix of subjects and all, I think there should be only couple of subjects taught in a day. And those subjects which are taught should be made sure that they are really, gone inside the brain of the child. Really, the child is understanding, not just to teach. Teacher should not be teaching just to teach and finish a job. So really, that connect should be there with the child. And I think that can only channelize through a mother or a parent sitting next. And that is how, the mother, child, and the teacher, it's a courtship. Everyone goes hand in hand.
So, like, the thing is, initially, when the child goes to school, for some time the parent can be there, but not for longer time duration. So, like, how can parents and parents be there with them in the school? So that comes to, again, you've been watching all my series. Again, it comes that we have to be partners. We have to walk hand in hand. Then only it's possible for parents, teachers to work on the overall development of children. So
Exactly.
again, thank God, and like I'm lucky enough, my thought process is just correlating with everybody who, so like all of you guests who've come here for your amazing talks. So now it's time for all parents and teachers to come together on the same platform, because the teachers are working for children. Why are we working for? We are also working for our children. So why not come together and work together? Because one and one is never two.
Exactly.
वो हिंदी में कहावत है, एक और एक कभी दो नहीं होते, 11 होते हैं। वो हम 11 नहीं, 22 हो सकते हैं अगर हम लोग एक साथ मिलके काम करें तो। So,
Exactly. Exactly.
okay, Daljit, tell me one more thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
when you started your preschool, you might have faced a lot of challenges as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, as far as I know, it became one of the best preschools in Kharghar, rather, I would
Yes.
say.
Yes.
So, what were the challenges that you faced while developing the school?
Okay. So, as I said earlier, Reena, I mean, there was competition already there. There were big brands. There were, there were other preschools already which were flourished from quite some time. But somewhere down the line, the biggest challenge that I faced was competition, number one. But then I knew I have something in myself which I can really give to parents and cater them in a way, that they will really be appreciative of what I'm really doing for their children. You would not believe, Reena. Initially, I just had one child for about 6 to 8 months, and that was really taking a toll because we were having a fund from UK which was just running out, and That was something which was really. But then once I started getting children, and once the whole, the people started recognizing my work and appreciating from word of mouth. In fact, I did not even do a lot of marketing. I did not do a lot of advertising. It is just through the word of mouth that I really got a lot of students, and parents were really very attached to me, and they got really connected with me. You would not believe, within a period of a year I had about 150 kids in my center. And maximum, so I had a mother toddler play group, nursery, junior, senior, and then I had a daycare, after school activities, breakfast club. I had all these things, so which, for every parent it is like a dream come true, because they've got everything under one roof. And मतलब अभी क्या हुआ कि बच्चे को छोड़ दिया दलजीत मैम के पास, तो up till the age of 12 they really don't have to worry about, because after school they come to me, and breakfast club they come to me. And then I used to have mousies which used to drop them to the bus, wherever the school buses used to come. Or there used to be, or we used to have a bus service where we used to drop the children to their respective schools, because we had only up till KG. So that's how, yeah, as I said, challenges are there everywhere. But I took it up to my shoulder, and really, we did really good. So the strength was from one child 200 within, say, about a year or so. So yeah, but that was a very good this, I would say. Yes, I yeah.
So we can say that where there is a will, there is a way. You had
Exactly.
you had the desire to just bring it up, so it came up.
Yes.
So while dealing with toddlers, like I would like to request you to give some parenting tips, because you are a motivational speaker and a parenting expert as well.
Mhm.
While the kids are in school, right, they are different, and at times when they go home they are different. Reason being, either the parents pamper them too much,
Yes.
right, or the grandparents are there to pamper them, and when
Yes.
they are in school we do not pamper them, we do love them, we do care for them, but it's
Yes.
not always that everybody loves them and cares for them.
Mhm.
So, for teachers, first I'll take up teachers.
Mhm.
What strategies would you tell the teachers, so that once because even you will agree to it, once we are starting off with the schools, we are going to face a lot of problems. Lot of problems are going to come up. So, what suggestions? Because you being a trainer, teacher's trainer, you can definitely give them some strategies which they can use to bring them up, to just bring them on track back. Because it's really going to be a tough task for teachers as well to bring them back to track.
Exactly. Exactly. So the first thing I would say is, obviously the children would lack discipline a lot, because a lot of parents are not really disciplining the children as such, because they feel, okay, it's vacation period or whatever XYZ reason, everyone is at home, there's no routine, there's no nothing. So that discipline is going to be the first thing which is going to lack. So I think teachers, how they can implement discipline is what always I have been doing when I had my orientation sessions also with parents and teachers. So for discipline a child, first you really need to have a very good bond and a rapport with all your classroom children. If that bond and rapport is not built, you would not have discipline also. So कहते हैं ना, to get something you have to dangle a carrot to the rabbit. So I think first, really, you rapport building can be done by telling stories, or really going on to their levels and starting to mingle and talk. And then eventually धीरे धीरे आप उनको बोल सकते हो कि okay, now this was the time that we had fun sessions and stories and play, and now we have this session wherein you have to listen to me. And then I also have a reward and a punishment, not literal punishment as in hitting or anything. I do have a punishment wherein a child is sent to a naughty corner or a naughty step or a naughty desk. So in every classroom I had a naughty corner. So if a child is, for example, there is one or two children who are being very naughty and disturbing the class, what we I used to do is, say the child is 4 years old, we used to take that child, we used to go down to the level of the child, explain the child, okay, you've not been listening to us, you've been doing a lot of masti. First I would give a warning, or my teachers would give a warning, and then still if the child does not listen, then second I'm, okay, this is it, I gave you a warning, now you have to go to a naughty corner and a naughty step. So that's where we put the child for 4 minutes, and we make the child face the wall and stand there. He needs to realize he's done something wrong, that's the reason he's being punished. Now what happens is, a lot of teachers just punish children without saying what they had actually done. So even the child is confused. Are bhai, meko kyun punish kar rahe hain? Kya hua? And he's not sure for what he's being punished for. And he will repeat the mistake again and again and again. So this is the very good technique which I follow, is a naughty corner. Even the parents can do it for that matter. What you have to do is just go down to the level of the child, make a eye contact, and just tell them, okay, this is it, and in a firm voice. Then you don't have to do all that lovey-dovey talks and all. In a firm and very voice, you need to tell the child, okay, you've not been listening to me, this is what I've been telling you, I'm giving you a warning. If you do it again, then you're going to the naughty corner. If the child does it again, that's it. You just, if the child cries, howls, whatever it is, just take the child, make him stand there for 4 minutes. The child keep coming back. Make him push, whatever the age of the child, just make him stand back again on that wall. Make him face that wall, because he needs to realize and understand, okay, I have done a mistake. And eventually the child will start getting disciplined, and he will really, really listen. So I think this is what I follow most of the time for discipline, and for children to listen to the teachers, and yeah, stuff.
So, are there any other strategies, which teachers can implement to discipline the children and bring them back to track? Because, some of the parents might object to this method of disciplining them, but we can obviously have some more methods. If you do have some more methods, please do tell us.
Yeah. So the other thing is, obviously, I do have parents coming up to me and say that, okay, ma'am, my child is really weak. I really would appreciate if you would not do something like this. So I understand that also. So we understand that not every parent, because there are some parents who really know their child, and they say, no, ma'am, you do what they've just given, and then that's it, you do. But there are some parents who are really, there are some children who are also weaker. We can't make them cry a lot also. They're little weaker inside, and they're little naive, and so for such children, what we have is, we have a reward system, wherein we say, okay, see, you've done this, please don't do it. If you are going to behave yourself, we will give you a reward, as in the form of a sticker, or we have a chart, and we develop the chart, we make that chart, and we start sticking those stickers. So for about a week or a month, after you get so many stars, you will get a reward. A reward can't be in a form of a sweet or anything. It can be a toy, the child that really wanted a toy, or creative book, or a coloring pad, or something like that. So we can also have, if not punishment, then we have to have the reward. So obviously the punishment is only for the very, very naughty kids who would not listen. But generally what happens is, children are they really want to listen to you. It is the way you talk and the way you command. The children are, at the end of the day, all child need love. So if with love you can explain, and you can tell, and you can share, they would really listen to you. So obviously the punishment thing is the last resort, when there are really, really very naughty kids and they're not listening. But yeah, we start with the reward, and then if things do not go as per plan, that's how we start with the punishment also.
Right. So, like we were talking about the online education for children. So, for preschoolers, don't you think it's a bit difficult task, because like the preschoolers, okay, playgroup, we understand, we don't give them notebooks, pencils, anything. Nursery, we after a couple of months, we hand them over pencil and notebooks. So what about upper kg and lower kg children? Because that is where, they start learning how to write. So how can teachers, because those kids, some of them are like, you have to take them in your lap, you have to hold them in hand, and you have to make them write slowly, slowly. So how can the teachers teach them to start writing? Because okay, nursery, we have done the identification of alphabets, we've done the identification of colors, vegetables, fruits, everything. Now we come to the writing part. So, how can teachers motivate them or use innovative methods so that seeing them on screen they start writing?
Exactly. So, just like we adults are, Reena, there are some things that we do not like to do, and there are some things that we would not want to do because we don't have any interest in that. But if the interest is developed, then obviously we would like to do it, and if we know there is a fruitful end at the you will get an achievement or something like that, that is when we start doing things. For example, if you're preparing any food item or anything, we know that if we know the taste, we know the taste is good, only then we start making it. The same way, if we have to really introduce children in writing, very first step to introducing writing is to introducing them with coloring crayons, and that is how they should be introduced. And maybe for example, when we introduce standing, sleeping line, a balloon, a standing line, and moreover that, what I believe is VAK, which is visual, audio, and kinesthetic. So visual is something that you see, audio is something that you listen, and kinesthetic something that you feel. So if all the three, the VAK, is aligned together, I think that the child will learn how to write, and he will have a lot of interest. And it again also depend on the teacher's delivery, of how the teacher's delivering the child to write. What is the motivation that the teacher is giving the child to write, or what is she really saying, or how is she appreciating if the child is doing such a thing. So as I said, the VAK is very important as visual. So for example, if we are introducing standing line, first the child needs to recollect what are the standing line you see in the nature. So maybe a building is a standing line, a tree is a standing line. So then by saying that, maybe introduce a rhyme with that, along with the rhyme. That's how you form a connect, and you form a loop, and that's how the child will recollect, and that's how the child will start developing the skills of writing. But very important, Reena, before I really want to tell a lot of parents, before introducing the writing skills, because what I feel is parents introduce writing aise hi. I don't want that. The fine motor skills only develops once the gross motor skills have developed. So a lot of physical activity really needs to be introduced in a lot of way. That is how then the fine motor skills will develop for the child eventually. Because otherwise, then we have complaints of children. Okay, I can't write. My hand is paining, and because the gross motor skills have not been developed, because the parents have not really taken effort, or the children have not been really doing any physical exercises to develop their
But
muscles.
at times what happens is there are kids, who are very active. They are good in sports. And they're not able to write because they are having some issues like they're dyslexic or dysgraphic, and the teachers, they feel that at this age the child is just pretending not to write, whereas it is not that way. It's the other way around. It is that the child does want to write and he is not able to do it because he is facing some problem and he's not understanding how to do it. And such a small child cannot come and tell us that I don't want to do it. They give up very soon, no? Small kids. And the teachers also, they try to say that, oh, he is not doing what to do, ma'am. Either they shout on them or they howl on them. I don't think that's the correct way.
Exactly. I think because there are children who do have a lot of ADHD, learning difficulties, and the other thing, which they also do need clinical counseling as well. So again, only a best teacher or a mother would be able to recognize such things. There are some children who are even autistic, and which there are they do not show, a lot of children do not even show any symptoms. So it is up to the parent and teachers view, and teachers, the way the teachers mentoring the child. It is the early time, and such things, if caught on an early stage, is really good then to be left at a later stage. So very rightly said, maybe there are children who are not even knowing,
Exactly.
parents
Like,
not even knowing there are yeah. So
do you feel that teachers at that level should they should be trained to identify the red flags in a child who is not able to read and write? What would you say for that? Like, should this be included in the early childhood care training, or the nursery teachers training courses? Should this be included?
yes, yes. I think because this is a very critical age, growing up children, and this is the age when, if things, as I said earlier, if things not caught up in a right time at the correct time, like we have LD, ADHD, and dyslexic, and the other issues that the children have, if they are not really caught in the right time, then the parents suffer in the later stage. So yes, teacher, all such things whilst teacher training is very very important. And I think even when the schools hire teachers for a preschool, so that in the demo itself they should be able to identify that which child needs special care, which child needs assistant teachers, which child needs extra care. So I think the teachers, as I said, the teacher is the second mother for the child after the child leaves the house. So teacher has to play the role of a mother as well, uh, in the school, in the classroom.
So, ma'am, do you think that the parents will identify and accept the fact that the child at such a small age, do you think they will identify and accept the fact that yes, the child is facing a problem?
Okay, so in most of my cases, there have been cases when parents have just been under denial. No, no, my child is good. No, my child, it can't happen to my child. And there has also been a denial where the parents really do not want to even continue. For example, I was also working for a good K-12 school, and there were few parents, when actually you tell them, that the child actually needs extra care, or there should be a special assistant teacher, they are always in that denial mode. Or I don't know what are they running away from, but yes, this is the fact, and you need to address it at a very right age, and at a very initial level. And if you are in a denial now, you'll always be in a denial, and at the end of the day the child is the one who's suffering. So if he had got attention, if he'd got extra care, extra understanding from another pair of hands, I think the child would have done wonders. So yes, it is very, very important for a teacher to recognize, and it's a very important thing for a parent, in fact, to understand. Okay, if there is something wrong with my child, there should be given some kind of weightage to the teacher's words, and maybe some kind of counseling, and then it should be left. It should not be left just like an open thing. Okay, let's see, jo hoga dekha jayega. No, they really need to work on it, because nowadays I think there are many children who are going through a lot of other psychological problems also, which are shown in their teens, and which are shown in their later stages or in the early adolescence. So had these challenges been faced in the early stages of their life, I think they would have done. Maybe some need clinical counseling, some just need counseling, some just need therapy. So it is very very important to catch the right kind of thing in the early stage, and parents really need to accept it, and parents need to go for गुरु क्यों बोलते हैं, गुरु कोई रीजन के लिए बोलते हैं. अगर आप उनको गुरु भी बोलते हो, और अगर उनको गुरु, आपको गुरु का भी सुनना नहीं है, then I think it makes no sense for you even to send your child to such a guru if you don't even listen to the guru. So yeah, I believe parents need stop being in that denial and understand the fact and just accept it and work on it rather than just close it off. I believe that should be done. And
Right. So, ma'am, one more thing. Like, what all activities, like right now, the preschoolers, the primary schoolers, they are in we can say they're in kind of a mess because they're not allowed to move out. They are not allowed to get out of the premises. They are locked inside. So, ma'am, what activities would you suggest for the parents to take up with pre and primary school children?
Okay. So, firstly, I think the activities, it should be a mixed bunch of everything for the children. So, as I said, for gross motor skills, they can just have running around or catching the ball or things like that. And other activities, there are many portals on online teaching, different activities as well, along with the academics. So such things need to be introduced in a very early age because there's a five-stage key development of a child, and if those are not enhanced in the early stages, that really becomes difficult for the even the child and the parent. So activities, I would say, coloring, drawing for fine motor skills, and then gross motor skills, and then again catching or running around or doing some kind of physical exercises, dancing, music, all that is really good activities for the children. And innovative way, what you can do is maybe reuse whatever you have, and then you can kind of utilize those things in the day to day life, and then or maybe even get your child involved in the daily chores, that kind of activities also. Say if you're getting the pods out of the peas, peas out of the pod, make them peel it off, or corn on the. So there are many such things even the children can get involved, or sorting out, cleaning the vessels, I think. Because what is also happening is they're also getting to learn the life skills, because I think I'm sure a lot of mothers would agree, or a lot of ladies would agree, this pandemic has taught everyone a lot of lessons. Had children been taught, or had because we were so relying on the maids, and so much we were relying on the outside thing for our internal work, that becomes really difficult, and the children don't want to do because they've never done that, and that is parents fault again. So I think if life skills are also involved in a day to day life with of the children, that will really work wonders for the children.
So, ma'am, do you think, like in Japan, life skills are in the daily routine in the schools, right? Do you think we Indians should also adopt those methods so that, okay, if parents are not teaching them at home, we teachers can teach them at school? Like when we were kids, we had SUPW periods, and we used to do everything from cleaning the playing ground till picking up the garbage from around the school campus. We did everything. Don't you think we should involve that in our life skills classes?
Yeah, I think that really needs to introduce. Really, we need to introduce, because in our time also we had like work experience. I was born. I'm a Mumbai girl, so we had work experience also. We had the other NDT activities and other activities also. So all these really needs to be introduced, and we had community living at that time, which is now called value learning. So all these is a very important thing to all these things are really important, so that the children get to know what really, and how to actually face such a situation in future, if something like this, or even the survival instincts for that matter, they should know at least to cook their basic food, and how to survive in nature, and how to survival instincts also should be introduced. Yes, I believe that it has to be there. It has to be a subject altogether. Survival instincts, life skills, it has to be a subject. And it should not be waiting. We should not be waiting for the primary, but right from pre-primary, something like this. The children should be set send left in the nature and just grab leaves and different kind of leaves and insects that they see. They just need to see and feel, because that's how you learn, right? That's how you learn. And Mother Nature's got a lot of things to teach also. So yes, life skills, survival skills, and all this do they need to be inculcated in the curriculum as well. Yes.
So that way, I think by imbibing these things in our curriculum, we can start off with the kids since the very beginning. Okay, ma'am. One more thing. Like I was coming across an article that was on nutrition for children. So when your daycare was there, when you started your daycare, did you face some problems regarding the food habits of children, like they not eating food? Because kids, they do throw tantrums while eating, and they don't eat everything that we give them. So did you face such problems? If yes, then how did you cope up with them?
Yes. So, as you know, Reena, many of the children are very fussy eaters. They really don't want to eat what their mothers have said. First thing, I really want to correct with a lot of parents, when the child is growing and when they're weaning the child, it is a Indian tendency to grind everything and to feed in the child's mouth, and just so that the child is they think that the child is getting nutrition and everything is they're getting, the child is getting. What happens in this is the nutrition the child is getting, but the taste is never developed. And I think introducing all the fruits, vegetables, bit by bit, right from the age of weaning, if that is introduced to a child, that is really, really beneficial. Okay, the challenges is that I faced was a lot of children were not eating food what the parents were sending. So what I decided is I had my own set menu in the daycare. What happens is when children see their age group children eating the same food, and they would, the first couple of days they would not eat, but then once they develop, the taste is developed, they eventually will start. But yes, this again is parents to be blamed, because a lot of parents grind it because they feel that this is an easier option. ग्राइंड करो और खिला दिया बच्चे को, वो नहीं करना है आपको. बच्चा चाहे कितना भी मेस करे, whatever, let the child do a lot of mess, let the child do a lot of house untidy and take this stuff. This is growing, you have to deal with it. So I would suggest is right from the when the child is started teething and weaning, when you start giving him solid food, finger food, everything should be introduced and not grinding should be introduced. I understand the child throw tantrum, but you have to don't. And the other thing I don't like is parents force feeding the children. I don't think you should be ever force feeding your child. Keep the child hungry for a couple of hours. The child, once the child really feels hungry and he knows, then give him what you really want, and that will be eaten. And I can guarantee you, because this is what I have been telling a lot of parents, and this has worked for a lot of parents. So one biggest tip I would give is, please don't ever guide this, especially for the young mothers. When the children, when the toddlers are going to grow, start weaning and all, when you're introducing food items, don't ever grind and give them anything. Because it's easier for you, but it's not easier for them, because they will never develop their taste. So you really need to give them finger food. You really need to give them, introduce good food to them, and it has to be wholesome food. It has to be a mix of blend of carbs and fresh vegetables and fruits. So maybe carrot sticks first, and then breadsticks and all these things. Introduce food items, and every food item should be introduced right up to the age of 3 to 4 years. I think that's how the children will develop taste for certain foods, and that's how they will start liking and developing the different kind of taste of the different type of foods and flavors.
Right. So, in a way, we should say that even preschoolers can be tame. In fact, that is the proper age to tame them. That's the proper word we can use.
Yeah.
So now, what our topic says is about the um, sparing or including the preschoolers in online education. So, according to you, yes, we can include the preschoolers in the online education system, We can give them a lot of things that they get involved into through our online portal, but it will be different from the physical teaching. So
Exactly.
what is the importance of physical training, physical teaching rather, physical teaching, and in fact, I would say, what is the difference between physical and online teaching for preschoolers? How do we, because preschoolers, once they get used to something, it's very difficult for us to detach them from that. So, don't you think that the online education thing that we are giving them, we are attaching them to online mode of teaching? So, what would be the difference between online and physical teaching so that the kids, once sent back to the physical teaching mode, do not face problems and do not create problems?
Okay, this is again a very good question, Reena. What I believe is obviously these are absolute two different things, physical teaching and then again the online teaching. Yes, physical teaching, online teaching is not really the same as physical teaching. I would totally agree. But then this is again the need of the hour. And as I said, that the learning should never be paused. So, one thing that a parent can do is just to get the whole atmosphere of the school at home for the child, for that timing, firstly the parent can also sit along with the child, and secondly is make a corner of a house or maybe some space that the child feels okay, and make him dress up like he's going to school. Get that thing into the head of the child. Okay, this is the routine. Now this is, you need to get dressed up and then you need to sit in the front of a PC, or you need to learn certain things, and then I'm going to assist you. And this has the pattern has to be developed in the child, that okay, this is for the timing because it's the need of the art. That literally should be drilled into the child's head, and that can only be done with the help of the parent, obviously, because at this point of the time they are the teachers as well, and they are the best teachers for their child for this moment of time. So they need to inculcate a better routine for them, for a child, and they need to develop a time frame. So basically I think many online classes happen in the morning, and that is the best time when a child is actually not even high on energy, or not even, that is the best time that you can get the best out of a child. So a routine and a routine space wherein that area is decorated with, maybe with the alphabets and letters and something which is getting him drawn towards that area, and okay, the child will understand, okay, I have to sit and study and learn from teachers. And obviously the parent has to be sitting next to the child for a few days or few weeks, but then once that's inculcated, I don't think so there'll be a lot of problem for children to kind of come on the online. And yes, to make a switch from online to physical, it is going to be a transition. So really what parents, I think, which I don't see happening very soon, looking at the current scenarios, I think this at least this year, probably it's just going to be online. What the teachers, and maybe you never know, this could also be the future, because as many are saying, it's just like, is it a pro or a con? So it is just like some are saying that online studies is going to be a future as well. It can be a future because it has its own benefits also. At the same time, it has its disbenefit, which are not very beneficial as well. So I believe that yeah, it's a catch-catch situation at the end of the day. But yes, designing a proper space for a child for online learning would be the best thing, best tip I can give as of now for a parent.
What would you suggest for kids like autistic kids, kids with the ADHD kids, kids having like kids with SLD? What would you suggest for them?
I think for them, really, these kids, I mean, they really need a lot of love and attention. And I have personally seen, if you really deal with, firstly, patience is the key with these children. If you really don't have patience with autistic child, or with LD or a special child, you really can't, and I somehow feel that they have immense talent and immense energy, which if channelized in a right way and in a positive way, they can really work wonders, because I've seen that happening in front of my eyes. There we I would not like to name any, but we had a couple of students who were, but you would not believe, I mean, after getting to know them and all, they are really good singers, some are very good artistic coloring and drawing, so that their energy needs channelizing. And the parents or the mentor really need to be patient with that child and need to understand that the child is not doing it on purpose. It is just that he has this is how his brain has been designed, and you have to live with it, and just be patient with that child, just be calm and just give
So,
love to that child.
so how can we as teachers impart online education to them? That is a big
So,
challenge, you know.
yes.
Because a child who's autistic, he is definitely going to face problems because he won't be able to understand what it is.
Exactly. So I believe for such things, I don't think so. You need to impart education to the child. I think you need to train the mother or the father. I think you would need to have a special class with the parent, rather than, that's how you could be able, because you're not physically present. And such children, special care and need special care children do need a lot of attention. And since physically you're not really there physically, I think you can guide it through parents. So maybe sessions with the parent on how to do, and how to train your child. That would be more beneficiary, rather than, because obviously that special child is not going to sit in front of the laptop or phone or computer. So I think you need to route it through the parent, and you need to really teach the parent, rather than teaching that child, the special child.
So, do you advise that schools more, in fact, ask the parents to let an autistic child or an ADHD child get involved in the online education, because there are inclusive schools who are telling the parents that all children should be there online for the classes. But what about those kids who are autistic and who are having these problems?
Exactly. As I said, such children need to be guided through the parents, and obviously, such they can't really. I think because these children are so their brain is wired in such a way that they would not sit at a constant place. So obviously, even if they have to do online, firstly, I would not suggest that they need to sit in a front. They need to sit in front of a laptop or PC, because firstly they are already hyper and they are very attention seeker. So I think a parent, through a parent, is what the best they can do, rather than going letting them do online classes.
So, or we can have an option of sending them some physical, because posts have already started, or there are printers at homes. So, I think instead of getting them online, we could send them some sheets and all through mail, right? So that they can get involved in it. Basically, our aim is to teach them how to recognize, not how to perform, for especially for autistic kids. So,
Yes.
what would you suggest for that?
Exactly. I mean, as you said rightly, Reena, that such children do, because what happens is, because they're they attention, they really have deficit in attention. They really need to be busy all the time, and I think keeping busy is this. The way you rightly said, maybe mailing them worksheets, and maybe getting involved in a lot of creative stuff, and involving in a lot of physical activities, and involving in a lot of, because as I said, their energy needs channelized, and how you channelize the energy is very very important. So a proper mentor and a proper guidance is required for such children, and obviously worksheets, and these are the best form of way that you can really keep the child engaged, and also at the same time you can get the child learning different things also. So I think yes, as you said, worksheet is the best that we can do. I mean, the parent can.
Exactly, exactly. And instead of asking the kids to speak up or narrate the answers, we can, after the classroom, we can send them worksheets, and the kids can just write it in their own writing and then scan it and either send it, or they can compile it in a file. And once the lesson is over, we can send it to the school or send it to the concerned teacher through the school. So I think that can also help out, because just answering everything, and ultimately they have to give exams. Though
Exactly.
we are teaching them at home, but some or the other way we have to we will be giving exams.
Yes. Agreed.
Right. So what are the takeaways for parents who are parents to preschoolers, who are parents to primary school children? What are the takeaways for them?
Okay, so the takeaways, as I said, that learning should never stop. Please form a proper routine for your child. Just imagine. Don't take it as a vacation time, or that the life is on a halt, and you can do things that you really want to do, and that the things that you didn't couldn't do because you were busy working. No, it is not. The life is going on and will always go on. So proper routine is what I would suggest all the parents really, especially the preschoolers and the primary kids, that routine, time to time, breakfast, lunch, and study routine for the children. Secondly, also a quality time spending with your child. If you're at home, doesn't mean that you are spending time. Okay, you think that you're spending time with your child. That does not mean quality. Quality, I mean, is when you getting involved with the child. On the things that the child like, maybe playing a game, maybe doing a physical activity, maybe dancing with them, maybe singing, maybe uh, storytelling. This is what a quality time is, not teaching them, but actually doing what the child is wanting to do. This is the second takeaway I want to tell parents, that the quality time is very, very important, and because that's how you will bond with your child. And thirdly is the nutrition, because what I see is pandemic. Parents are going crazy on cooking different kind of things, and they feel, okay, the child had not eaten sweets and everything. No, a proper balanced diet is very important, very, very important for a child, for the mental and the physical development of the child. So nutrition and also well balanced diet is what I would suggest you to please keeping into the consideration of all these factors. And lastly, as I said, because I'm very, very attached to the toddlers and this age range, so I would always want to say that please, please, please do not grind and give the food to your child. Introduce finger food. That is, I know that is the easier option for parents to grind, but please, finger food. So these are my takeaways to the parents, and I hope they really like what I've been imparting today.
Thank you so much, Daljeet, and thanks for sparing time for this show. It
Thank
was
you so
pleasure
much,
having
Reena.
you.
Thank you, and I really enjoyed, and I really liked. I felt that I was not really, even I felt you're just here, and I felt that there's a big audience sitting right in front of me, and I'm saying. So yes, even I enjoyed a lot being here, Reena. Thank you
Thank you
so much.
so much, and namaste.
Thank you, Namaste.
So here we end our session today. Tomorrow we will be having Mrs. Sundari Subramanian from Shirdi, Maharashtra. She will be throwing some insight on 21st century skills and using multiple intelligence in the virtual learning. Thank you so much. Namaste. See you tomorrow evening 6:30.